Hello everyone, today we're going to be learning about Van Gogh and Impressionism. So right here, this is Van Gogh. He was born March 30th, 1853, and he died July 29th, 1890. This is Mr. Vincent van Gogh, or Van Gogh. So about Van Gogh. Vincent William van Gogh was a Dutch post-impressionistic painter who posthumously became one of the most famous and influential figures in the history of Western art. In a decade, he created about 2,100 artworks, including around 600 oil paintings, most of which date from the last 2 years of his life. So, Impressionism. So, what is an impressionistic painter and what is Impressionism? So, impressionistic artists often use broken brushstrokes rather than smooth and noticeable ones, and also use many colors to paint scenes of everyday life. So this brings us to still life. What is a still life? Still lifes are setups made by people. Still lifes include all kinds of man-made or natural objects. Cut flowers, fruit, vegetables, fish, and so on. So anything can really be a still life. It could be a toy car, it could be a whole bunch of different electronics, anything that we set up and paint, that's a still life. So now we're just going to look at a couple of Van Gogh's still life. So we see some flowers, we see some fruit, we see this little everyday little bundle of breakfast. That's a really nice scene. And we can see how rich and colorful all his paintings are. So look at these different types of pots and backgrounds and use them for inspirations for yours. They're really gorgeous. So use these colors. I really like the green and white one with the little brown background and the blue in the back. Alright, so our I can statements for this week are: I can learn about still life drawings, I can learn about Impressionism, and I can paint my own still life painting. Another thing that we are learning about, or we can learn about, Vincent van Gogh, who was a Dutch post-impressionistic artist. So these are our standards for this week, our anchor standard number 3, 10, and 11. So let's wrap this up and get into our drawing or painting today. Yay! Hello everyone, today we're back with another project. Remember, we're doing still lifes about Van Gogh's 12 flowers. There might be 16 flowers, there might be 5 flowers, or whichever or however many flowers that you would like to draw today. So the first thing that I want to start off with is make sure that you have your paper and that it is nice and tall, that it is portrait. Make sure you have your watercolor palette. If you do not want to use watercolor, you're more than welcome to use crayons. I am going to be using a black crayon to be drawing my background today. As well, you want to make sure that you have a small cup of water. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is my vase. In my vase, I'm going to have this nice curved line. I'm going to follow that curved line with another curved line on top. So I kind of have this nice skinny oval. After that, what I'm going to do with my vase, I'm going to bring it down like a V. And I'm going to go out again. Ooh, so my vase looks like. Your vase may look different. My vase is not perfect, and that's okay. I could have made these shorter, but that's alright. We all make mistakes. And what we'll go into next, we want to make sure that we have a really nice horizon line. Remember, that separates our ground from our sky, our top from our bottom, or anything like that. Remember, we're getting a still life. So we want to create a nice little beautiful scene. So what's going on around this scene? Next, all we have to do is draw our flowers, of course. So how do we want our sunflowers to look like? I like to be a little creative, and I like to give some of my flowers a nice swirl for the center. And I just go off and make my beautiful leaves. Or I might just want a little jagged center. I'll make my leaves pointy. I'll show you guys a couple of different ways to make your flowers, and then you can fill in the rest of however they may look. It is going to be okay, and that is all right. You can fill in however many flowers that you want, and once it's done, that's how many flowers that you'll have in your pot, and that's what you'll name it. So if I left it like this, I'll name this 2 sunflowers. Or if I had 10, I'd name it 10 sunflowers. All of ours will be different because all our flowers will be different too. Little circle, a very classic flower. Or I might even want to add flowers that are kind of wilted. I'm going to add in my stems. Add some more flowers back here. So these are the type of 3 flowers that I like to do. I'll just add them wherever I want. I'll put some behind each other. I don't know if I want a lot of flowers or just a few. I'll put more hanging off. Kind of little wilted flowers. I want another swirly flower right here too. You can go crazy with the flowers if you want. I think I'm going to stop here. I think I'm going to name mine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 flowers, so mine's 9 sunflowers. And the next part, the fun part, is just painting. I make sure to wet my brush first just a little bit. Make sure it was washed from last time. And remember, you want to make sure that your brush is nice and soft. You want to make sure that you paint nice and softly like this, not like this. We don't want any scrubbing. If you're scrubbing, that's not how we want to treat our brush. You want to be nice and delicate with it. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I like to use some brown. I'll use some brown for the center of my little flowers. I color these little parts brown too. And I like to use yellow. My yellow is kind of contaminated. I think that happens a lot. That's okay. And I'll use yellow and orange to kind of color in my little sunflowers. Just wash in between each time you go into those colors. I think I want that darker. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just finish coloring up my flowers and I'll be right back. So just color them black or brown for the centers and yellows and oranges for the leaves or petals. Alright, so all I'm going to do next is paint my leaves. Not my leaves, my stems. I'm going to paint them green. Give some petals. It's okay if I didn't draw them in. Kind of color that in. And the rest really just have a choice for how we want ours to look. I think I want my vase to be orange on the bottom. I think I'm gonna keep my top part white. But you can decide to make yours however you want. So I'm gonna kind of I'll do this. You can have yours a solid color. You can split yours in half. I'll split mine in half. Have the top part different colors than the bottom. All right. I think I want my ground. I think I want it to be blue. So I'm going to make a little shadow. You learned about shadows. So I'm going to make my darkest part right under the vase. Can I make a little oval around it? I just fill in the rest of my background just like this. Remember, to cover a lot of space, I like to paint on the side. I'll show you guys like this. I like to paint on the side of my brush. I'll zoom in. I'll turn it to the side. Just like this. I'm not painting on the tippy top of my paintbrush. I'm painting on the side of my paintbrush. There you go. Make it a little darker right here. There we are. And for my background, oh, I don't know what color I want it. I think I'll have it. I have a complementary color. These are complementary colors here. I think I'll use a monochromatic color. I think I'll make my background purple. Or analogous color. I'm going to try to be really careful. My flowers are dry now. So I'm going to try to be really careful to work around them. Remember, you don't want your paint to be too watery. You should be able to work it just like this. And it's kind of just like coloring. Kind of like using a wiggly color pencil. There we are. This is going to be mine. I'll zoom out. And of course, you can wait to write your name. If your painting's dry, you can grab the black. Make sure it's not that watery. See, there's almost no water in there. You can sign your name. And it's 2022. I should have waited a little longer to let that dry, but that's all right. And there we go. Make sure your paintbrush is nice and washed. Set it back in and close it up. And we're all done. I hope you had fun creating this beautiful little still life, especially in paint. All right, guys. Or using crayons. And if you color, the same thing. You can add your little shadows everywhere. And it'll all be all right. Okay, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.